Richard, Arkansas football and Arkansas fans got some good news this past Saturday night as Rashaad, help me pronounce his last name. Is it Dubion or Dubion?
Yeah, that's good enough.
Dominion?
Yeah.
Okay, close enough.
I think I said it right, and I think that's what you just said.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. RD, what's the Arkansas football team getting in Rashaad?
You're getting a guy that can definitely motor, take it outside, take it inside. He's strong enough and physical enough to go between the tackles too. A guy that can catch the ball out of the outfield. It appears, at least from a high school prospect perspective, he's an every down back, 5'10", 190 pounds. Like I said, physical enough to go between the tackles, but he can. And one thing that you notice on his highlight film, he will make some people look silly in the open field. There's one particular play early in his highlight film where he just takes a very subtle step to the inside near the sideline, and this DB basically runs out of bounds trying to catch him. He's so faked out. So he's a good one.
One of the things that these new hires were supposed to, on the football circuit, on the football side of things with this coaching staff, recruiting was an issue and something. You go younger, you hope you can stack up in that. Richard, they get a top 30 class in their first recruiting cycle, wasn't even a full one. Then a top recruiting class, 25 in year number 2. Is there an expectation from you and other recruiting guys and gals that this Arkansas football team, especially with the in-state class as talented as it is, should these guys finish top 20 nationally in 2022?
I think if they don't, obviously fans may be disappointed, but the number one fan will be disappointed, Sam Pittman, because he's obviously come out and said that they got to do better in recruiting. So, yeah, I think with the strong class that they have in state for the 22 class, if you're able to get most of those guys and go out of state and get some guys like Rashaad and some others, you should be able to get within in the top 20.
Back to Rashaad a minute ago, and 4 stars, and obviously sometimes these top recruits are able to help you recruit other top recruits. Who might be in that network? Who might be another player that he could reach out to on social media or directly and maybe influence and get them to come to Arkansas with him?
Well, he's got a teammate that he can talk to every day at school, Josh White, a defensive end, 6'5", 258, who recently named Arkansas was one of his top 6 schools, and who I had in Friday's column, and he talked about if the dead period was extended, he would probably be making his decision in April. He tweeted out last night that because of the dead period being extended to May 31st, he'll be making his decision very, very soon. So he's one to keep an eye on. I know that obviously he likes Arkansas when you have a school as one of your top 6 schools, and then when you have a guy that's committed to him, that's a teammate, that doesn't hurt. And texting Rashaad last night, you could tell that he's definitely trying to get him on board too. So you don't have to go very, very far to maybe have the Rashaad factor in there.
We were talking earlier about that dead period being extended and just the hamstringing it does for every program, but how it might affect Arkansas in some ways more than others. Is leaning on players to help and communicate, ones that are already strongly committed to your program, how much bigger of a factor does it become in a year like this where the coaches can't leave campus and the players can't come for officials?
It's always big, but it's even more so last year than this year. Last year, the 20 class really came together and had a lot of I guess group texts with prospects along with themselves who are all committed. Jermaine Hamilton Jordan was a leader. Lucas Coley was a leader. They're doing the same with this class. The 3 guys that were committed to them obviously went after Rashaad and was able to help lure him in, and they're out trying to get some others. And that, I mean, when you're not able to obviously have kids on campus and everything, you're looking for every advantage possible to try to get a kid to commit. And the guys that are already committed, they're some of your best sellers of the program. So why not?
Talking with Richard Davenport here on the Morning Rush. Rick in Clarksville asked us a little bit earlier, RD. He says, how does our football program compare with our basketball program as far as transfers? Does the football program look as actively in the transfer portal as the basketball program does?
Yes. Excuse me. But the problem is and a lot of it comes down to numbers. And but at the same time, we've always talked about this. If you find somebody in the portal, even if your numbers are maxed out, you know the numbers can be worked out in some form or fashion if there's a guy that you truly want. But yeah, they're definitely they look at the portal. They're very active in the portal. Obviously they got Crawford, the offensive lineman from Charlotte, out of the portal. Obviously had a previous relationship there, but they're actively looking at who may be in there. Yeah.
We were talking about the transfer portal a little earlier in the program, Richard, and if you look at it right now, according to Keith Grabowski of the Coaching Coordinator podcast, 72% of the players in the 2021 transfer portal have yet to find a destination. And that always goes back to the idea of the grass is greener. Would you encourage kids to be hesitant about transferring from programs based on the fact that they might have to transfer down outside of the Power 5 or even down to classification for that matter?
I would definitely be careful of who I listen to. Don't listen to Uncle Ty, who has no previous experience whatsoever of college football, the inner workings and things like that. Listen to your high school coach. Make sure you have a landing spot. You have people that you know that's seriously interested in you, and you can go and attend that school. Because, like you said, there's a lot of kids that over the last few years that thought that they would be able to find another school, and they're out of football. And it's shameful, but that's the way it is. And with the freedom that they're allowing, kids to get into the portal, there's also a responsibility on your part to make sure that you're doing something that's in your best interest that you truly can benefit from, or be left out in the cold.
Yeah, and you just think about this past season with COVID and the pandemic and players missing games because of quarantine. There were players that left the program that would have had legitimate playing time and been on the field, but they just left too early. They gave up on their opportunity and may have missed their window.
Well, I mean, and let's face it, we live in a culture that demands immediate gratification, and sometimes that doesn't come along every day, and sometimes you have to be patient. But that's something that needs to be taught to kids, and I think a lot of that goes back to their parents. Some parents are the worst advocates of their kids because they think that little Johnny is much better than what he is, and you really need to listen and talk to people that truly have been through the process before, know what they're talking about. And I'm talking about high school coaches. Lean on the high school coaches. If the high school coaches don't know, they'll probably be able to find somebody that can help you through the process and give you as much education about the process as you possibly can get it. Don't listen. There's so many people in these kids' ears. It's shameful.
Yeah. What has Richard Davenport been doing to pass the time with sub-zero temperatures this week and a foot of snow on the ground?
Making sure all the water taps are running. Actually, I just turned them off for the first time in about a week. So it's supposed to get up to around 30 or 35 today. So that's exciting.
I can tell you from personal experience, you do not want a busted pipe. It is no fun. You don't want to be the proud new owner of a shop vac, which I am now. So just take it from me, you don't want any of that. And I left my
No. You what now?
And I left my taps running, and it still didn't matter. So
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a whole plumbing deal. Is that one a pipe outside faucet, even though it was covered, still got it. So that's how cold it was. So.
Yeah. Hey, man, I always told my wife, I said, there's no way in heck we'll move any farther north in Arkansas. No way. How in the world how can people in Wisconsin and Minnesota? I know you if you're born and raised in it, you're used to it, but no way. This is about to drive me crazy as it is.
Well, you see why Northerners and Yankees are cranky all the time because they're having to deal with this weather 24/7.
They're locked up with
that. That is the truth. Anybody says that's not the truth, I'm sorry. That's incorrect because when you're around this stuff as much as they are, how can you not be cranky? At least we get to see the sun and we can be active during the winter most of the time.
That's what I'm saying. Richard, we appreciate it, buddy. Be safe. We'll talk next Thursday, okay?
All right, buddy. We'll see you guys.